everyone, it's April here, and today I've got a sketchbook video using a little bit of inspiration from Google Earth. And I really like to press this button here, the dice, which is I'm feeling lucky, and it normally pops you out somewhere pretty cool in the world. So today it took me to Praia de Pipa. I don't know how to pronounce that, but it's in Brazil and it's a pretty cool little beach town. So I spent a while walking around it in Google Earth, just having a look around at some cool buildings, and this is the first little building that I found, which is like this super cute church that was just plonked in the middle of what seemed to be a car park. So I'm using my Moleskin Art Plus sketchbook again, just trying to work through this and get rid of it. And I'm also using an assortment of pencils from my pencil cup there. So basically what I'm going to do is just walk around the town, find really interesting things that I think are interesting, and sketch them out onto a little spread. I'm also using the Acryla Gouache, which I have become completely obsessed with since I brought it like maybe a month ago, 2 months ago now. I have been using it non-stop. It is so much fun, and it's really good in this sketchbook too, because the Moleskin Art Plus sketchbook, I think I've mentioned before, the pages are quite thin and they're not very good for watercolour at all. I did try to do a couple of watercolour images and it just kind of like crinkled the pages. You couldn't layer anything, you couldn't really do anything with the watercolour. So for painting, gouache is really good in the sketchbook because you don't really need that much water when you're using the gouache, especially the acrylic gouache. So I found that pretty helpful. And the colours that I have for my acrylic gouache, I only have a few. They're quite bright and they're quite funky. So I kind of like went off of reality and just went with colours that I thought would look nice. And here I'm adding this random cloud that at the time I thought was a good idea, but as soon as I put the blue down on the paper, I immediately regretted my decision. Has that ever happened with you? Like an immediate regret of a decision? I think it kind of ends up looking a little bit like a castle from like Super Mario Brothers, but I tie it all together in the end and hopefully it doesn't look that bad. And then to do the liner, I'm just using some random polychromos pencils. Again, I just picked the ones that I have in my pencil cup. I have like 4 or 5 of them that I have been using non-stop since I brought them. So I mean, nothing about this spread is realistic at all. It's all quite cartoony, and I actually really enjoyed doing it. And the best part of any image, the power lines. I think power lines add so much to an image, especially when you're like in one of these cool little South American towns or something and there's just power lines everywhere. So pop back into the map and walking around, there was this like cool little main street here which seems to be the touristy area, and I found this really weird looking tiny, I think it's a restaurant or something. It looks so weird and awesome, so I had to do that one as well. And the whole concept of using Google Maps to look around and get inspiration isn't really new. Like, I'm not really being original here. I've been doing it for a long time, not just for inspiration, but I just really love using Google Maps. I use it a lot to obviously get directions for places, but also to map out routes that I'm going to be running. So I like to, if I'm doing a new route, I like to like walk around it on Google Maps to make sure there's enough street lights, or there's a pavement, or I'm not going to get lost. There's not like a dead end or something like that. So using Google Maps for inspiration for like references and stuff has definitely been done before. I believe Minnie Small did an entire video on how she uses Google Maps for references, which I'll link below. That was really cool and interesting. And she has like an entire collection of references that she collects and keeps on her computer. I'm not like super hardcore. I'm just literally just press that dice button and wherever I turn up, I turn up. It's quite fun actually, because you don't really know what culture you're going to be in, what kind of like street, if it's going to be countryside, if it's going to be the city. So, you know, I like to keep it interesting. And I think my favourite part of this entire spread that I do are the palm trees, because I was using like lots of the pinks and oranges and yellows and creams, and that blue of the cloud just was super garish and just like stood out. But as soon as I put in the palm trees with that like lime green, it just made everything look a little bit less crazy. It just kind of like brought everything together. And then I found this like the cutest little shop. I don't even know what it is, but that green of the building I couldn't resist because I have that green in one of my paint colors. So, and this is kind of like a biggish sketch rather than just like one little building on its own. It's kind of like almost like a little block. I do end up putting another cloud in because I thought I could tie it in, maybe not make the top one look so bad. It doesn't look terrible, but I can tell you I'm not going to be drawing blue clouds anytime soon. And then definitely for me, for my style of what I've been doing recently, just like learning gouache. I mean, I'm not an expert, I've only been using it for like a month. I'm like super basic, you know, I'm just like, I put a colour here, I put a colour there. And the thing that kind of brings it all together is the line art. Like without the line art, it just looks like a hot mess. So maybe in the future I will get more into gouache and like learn how to layer it properly and, you know, add shadows and shade and make it look lovely. But for this little one, I just wanted to do like a little kind of sketchy gouache thing, and definitely putting the pencils on brings it all together, because without the pencils it wouldn't look half as okay. And I also really like adding these little dots everywhere. I do them quite a lot in most of my images now. I just think it adds a little bit something, especially when you don't have any like shadow or shade, when it's just like a flat colour. You kind of need something to bring it more alive. And then the last place I go to is the beach, because you can't go to Brazil and not go to the beach, right? Unless of course you're in the Amazon rainforest. So then the last thing I drew were these palm trees that I found along the beach, and they had like the bottom bit painted white. I'm not quite sure why they have the bottom bit painted white, but I thought they looked pretty cool. So I decided to just do some floating palm trees in the sky to finish it off. And then you can kind of see that I tried to do like the green at the top and the bottom, and then the blue at the top and the bottom, so it kind of like pulls everything together, so there's not just one massive blob of bright blue. So I think it actually turned out pretty cool. And doing these little lines on the palm tree was definitely the most fun part. As you can see there, I kind of run out at the end and I'm like, I'll just make this trunk purple and blue because that's completely realistic. So yeah, just adding some more little dotty bits at the end, and then I'm calling the spread done. So that's the finished piece. I think it all kind of works together. Nice little doodly page to remind me of my Google tour of a little beach town in Brazil. So do you guys use Google Maps at all? Let me know the coolest place that you've been to on Google Maps, and maybe we can share our destinations. And that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye.